these deadly loads.
What the
Since
fuck?
the media are reporting on the bombardments.
Wait, this is weird. What the fuck? What happened to my noise gate, boys? I don't know what's going on. Okay, never mind. It's back again. There was something weird where like someone was saying they could hear like random shit in the background, and I thought it broke or something. It's good now. I think it got fixed. We're fine now, I think. Didn't even question, how did the UK move from pushing Zionism to supporting the freedom of Palestinians? Like, what changed their viewpoint on the genocide? I am dumb. It might be missing some historical context. I don't know how to. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I don't think the UK's position changed all that much, though.
The NGO The Weapon Watch has urged the Italian government to consider suspending some or all Italian military exports to Israel. Rome has recently halted the sale of thousands of missiles to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that's not. Creating a Jewish state in Palestine was a deliberate, drawn-out, violent process. Palestinians were dispossessed of vast swaths of land. Over 80% of Palestinians in what became Israel in 1948 were made into refugees overnight. This process may have culminated in 1948, but it had begun in the early 20th century, and it still continues today, including Palestinian Christians, which make up 20% of the entire like Palestinian population, which were Christians. A large majority of them escaping Palestine because of the purges by immigrating Jews that cast them aside, as well as the Muslims that were living in that region, including even fighting back against the British authorities that originally wanted to create a safe place for Jewish migrants, that then decided maybe we are pumping too many people into this region and we should probably stop doing so. To create the state of Israel, Zionist forces attacked major Palestinian cities and destroyed some 530 villages. This is important to understand, by the way, the historical context. Approximately 13,000 Palestinians were killed in 1948, with more than 750,000 expelled from their homes and becoming refugees, the climax of the Zionist movement's ethnic cleansing of Palestine. Today, the refugees and their descendants number more than 7 million. Many still languish in refugee camps in neighboring Arab countries, waiting to return to their homelands. Didn't the Jews just buy land from Palestinians? Some did. There was purchase of lands as well. Here, let's start it from the top. So from 1917 to 1939, the British mandate's main objective was to place historic Palestine under political, administrative, and economic conditions that would secure the establishment of a Jewish national home in Palestine. Before the British mandate in Palestine, Jews made up 3% of the total population. Before the British mandate in Palestine also, in 1917, who else was in control of that territory? Who else was in charge of that land? I don't recall. Oh, that's right. It was the Ottomans. Anyway. Let's keep going. So then, I guess 1939 is when the mass migration comes to a halt. Jewish population is still rising. Palestinian population is rising as well. Wait, why can't I fucking pause this? Wait, what the fuck? Wait, why can't I just... What just happened? Okay. There's Jewish immigration happening. The British mandate facilitated Jewish immigration from Europe to Palestine in the 1920s and 1930s. By 1947, the Jewish population had increased tenfold to 33% of Palestine. In 1946, Zionist Jews controlled less than 6%. Why is that skipping so quickly? That's so stupid. Less than 6% of historic Palestine. I'm like a fucking college professor who can't like figure out the PowerPoint. In 1947, the UN proposed a plan that would grant 55% of historic Palestine to a Jewish state and 45% to a non-contiguous Arab one. Jerusalem would get special international status. Palestinians rejected the proposal because it stripped away much of the land that was under their control. At the time, they owned 94% of historic Palestine and comprised 67% of the population. On May 14th, 1948, the day the British mandate expired, Zionists declared the State of Israel to be born. Zionist military forces expelled at least 750,000 Palestinians, destroyed over 530 villages, and captured 78% of historic Palestine. The remaining 22% was divided into two parts, the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. In 1949, the UN welcomed Israel as a member state. No Palestinian state ever materialized. Look at the population charts here, by the way. After the original purges in Nakba, the Palestinian population is either cast into West Bank and Gaza territories. The remaining Palestinian population in Israel dramatically declines. For the record, 1987 is when Hamas was fully formed with the help of, and this is a matter of public record, Israeli generals. So I just want to point that out. Like, Hamas is not here, okay? So whenever motherfuckers are like, Hamas, Hamas this, Hamas that, Hamas this, why don't you find some, why don't you Hamas some bitches, okay? This is important to understand the context of this. Okay? There was a war. Another thing that it does not mention that I don't know why is also expulsion. Mass expulsion from Jews in Arab nations as well, for the record. A lot of the Palestinians went to Arab nations and got refugee status from Arab nations. They fled or were forcibly removed from their homes. And in retaliation... Oh, wait, that's 1967. What am I... Okay, wait, let's keep going. God damn it, why can't I move this? This is annoying me. Okay. In June 1967, Israel expanded into the West Bank, including East Jerusalem and the Gaza Strip, occupying all of historic Palestine. This is the day that is celebrated as Jerusalem Day, by the way. Like, the day that is celebrated as Jerusalem Day is well, in the eyes of the ultra Zionist, like super far right Israeli Jews, they consider this to be like when Israel fully took over Jerusalem. Israel expanded into the West Bank, including East Jerusalem and the Gaza Strip, occupying all of historic Palestine. This has made the Israeli occupation the longest in modern history. As you can see, Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza, the Palestinian population is steadily dropping at this point. Okay. The PLO leader Yasser Arafat signed the Oslo Declaration of Principles with Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin. Future negotiations were supported to determine which areas Palestinians would control within 22% of historic Palestine that Israel occupied in 1967. Yeah, this doesn't mention the Arab-Israeli War, which is, I mean, it's fucking. Palestinians were given certain powers of self-rule in urban parts of the West Bank and Gaza Strip. However, Israel maintains security control and the ability to raid at any time. And at this stage, you start noticing that the occupied West Bank territory starts getting the occupied West Bank territory is already like being completely fucking removed from interacting with one another, where it is getting divided as checkpoints are being set up, and the territory is just like cut through with surgical precision, just straight colonization happening in map form in front of your eyes. They were given certain powers of self-rule in urban parts of the West Bank and Gaza Strip. However, Israel maintains security control and the ability to raid at any time. Gaza is basically a massive prison block. Even today, Even today, Palestinian national aspirations remain elusive. Throughout historic Palestine, Palestinians face occupation and colonization, siege and war, and discrimination and second-class treatment from Israeli rule. Additionally, millions of Palestinian refugees languish in camps awaiting their right to return to their homes. There's like different, I guess there's drone footage. Al-Maq, a Zionist military unit whose commanders included Yitzhak Rabin, expelled villages, Palestinian inhabitants. Jaffa. Oh wow, they go in detail, like state by state, over like every part of the expulsion. Would you agree that Israel had the option back in 1960s or whenever the UN proposed division of land and not oppress Palestinians for decades and colonize them? Yes, but the part of the problem is that Israel, and they continue to use this as a example or as a reason for their brutal occupation, will claim that they have to do defensive colonization. They have to occupy all of these territories and lock people away and completely control their existence in every meaningful capacity, because that's the only way to protect the interests of Israeli citizens. That's the argument. Like, that's what it is. And the same goes for their annexation of Golan Heights, for example, which is Syrian land. Sorry, I had to literally go and take over Syrian territory because it's in firing range and you guys keep lobbing rockets at us through that area, so I have to take it over. My bad. The defensive genocide, basically. Anyway, there is now a Israeli Defense Forces the most moral army video that that Benjamin Netanyahu posted of PragerU, which is fucking wonderful.
Two views of the Israeli military: what you hear in most of the media and the truth.
Oh, this fucking bloke, dude. We got a British Zionist here, bruv. There's two fucking views of Israel, the best, most moral fucking army. The most moral fucking army in the world, bruv. Boy, how you fucking doing, bruv?
Military, what you hear in most of the media and the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth.
I'm the commander of the fucking British Army, bruv. Colonel Richard Kemp. Boy, The first point is actually right. The IDF is nothing like they portray in the media. Yeah, no, true. Straight up. Nothing like the media fucking portrays the IDF, bruv. They're not doing nearly enough genocide that they could get away with, bruv.
Commander of British forces in Afghanistan.
Hold on, I gotta pee.
I have fought in combat zones around the world, including Northern Ireland, Bosnia, Macedonia, and Iraq. I was also present throughout the conflict in Gaza in 2014. Based on my experience and on my observations, the Israel Defense Force, the IDF, does more to safeguard the rights of civilians in a combat zone than any other army in the history of warfare. Why is this so? Firstly, Israel is a decent country with Western values run on democratic principles. Israel has no more interest in war than Belgium does. In fact, Israel has never started a war. The only reason it ever goes to war is to defend itself. And it has to defend itself because, unlike Belgium, it is surrounded by countries and armed groups that want to destroy it. Secondly, Judaism, with its unsurpassed moral standards, remains a major influence on the citizens of Israel. I say this as a non-Jew. Thirdly, the army is composed overwhelmingly of citizen soldiers. Israel's a small country with a small professional army. To fight a war, it depends on its conscripts and its reservists. These are ordinary citizens, from professors to plumbers, called upon to defend their homes. They don't want to be fighting, and they don't want to harm others. Nowhere was the essential morality and decency of the IDF more evident than in the Gaza.
Bro, we're just fucking tiny, bruv. They're tiny. They're fucking tiny. They're small. How could a small group of individuals actually fucking do such devastation, right? It's fucking mandatory. Yeah, it's so tiny, bro. It's so tiny. It's so tiny. You miss the Western values? Yeah, like doing fucking genocide to brown people. They're continuing the fucking Western culture, bruv. It's like, it's my heritage, right? Meanwhile, they're like one of the most advanced military forces on the planet, for the record. Just so you understand. Wait, he said Israel is as peaceful as Belgium? I wonder what the people of the people of Congo would have to say about that. They would probably agree. Yeah, they would probably say, yeah, just as peaceful as Belgium.
The war of 2014. If ever there was a purely defensive war, this was it. The war was started by Hamas.
Dude, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Oh my God. This guy's such a piece of shit, dude. This guy wrote an article where he thinks that ISIS have infiltrated the British armed forces. He's the sort of guy who talks about needing to defend Judeo-Christian values. Oh my God.
The terror organization, designated as such by the US State Department, that runs the Gaza Strip. In the first 6 months of 2014, Hamas launched hundreds of rockets at Israeli civilians. After repeated warnings from Israel to stop, the Israeli Air Force finally conducted precision strikes to halt the rocket fire, and the IDF advanced into Gaza to destroy a network of terror tunnels that Hamas had constructed to attack.
Yeah, just, you know, thousands of civilians happen to be in the way. Like literally thousands, like many more civilians than fucking Hamas individuals. Hamas individuals were hiding behind the fucking civilians, bruv. It's like And these aren't even fucking NGO numbers, okay? These are like IDF's own conservative estimations.
Israeli communities near the Gaza border. The IDF took extraordinary measures to give Gaza civilians notice of targeted areas, dropping millions of leaflets, broadcasting radio messages, sending texts, and making tens of thousands of phone calls. Let me repeat that.
Oi, bruv, we're about to do a fucking shanking, yeah? Oi, bruv, you better leave your fucking house right now, bruv. We're about to fucking bomb you, yeah? Oh no, dude. Not the fucking Israelis, bruv. They must have been so tired from fucking calling them up one by one, warning them that they're gonna fucking bomb their houses, bruv. That's crazy. Doing a fucking robocall before your genocide is unheard of. What? Someone said ad hominem.
Israelis called Gazans on their cell phones and told them to leave their residences and move to safety.
The IRA called ahead when they set off a car bomb. I guess this guy thinks they were super moral as well. I don't know if he has a similar approach to the IRA, which again was pushing back against an occupying colonial power. I think that his morality lies on whoever is the actual powerful oppressor, I would assume.
Never in the history of warfare.
Why would you believe a random person? Wait, no, the IRA did do that. What do you mean?
Army phoned its enemy and told them where they're going to drop their bombs. Many IDF missions that could have taken out Hamas military capabilities were aborted to prevent civilian casualties, increasing the risk.
Dog, they literally, like, it doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't matter. Thousands of Palestinian civilians were murdered by Israeli forces in 2014. Shut the fuck up. What a fucking psychopath, dude.
Risk to Israeli citizens and soldiers. Despite all of this, of course innocent civilians were killed. Every war is chaotic and confusing, and mistakes are frequent. But mistakes are not war crimes.
Oh, God. A mistake was what you would call your mother not having an abortion, you fucking dense meathead British fuck. That's a mistake. I bet this dude thinks it's a fucking mistake to even tell the Palestinians that they're going to bomb their house before bombing them.
Hamas, on the other hand, committed war crimes.
This is the guy who's single-handedly holding the jellied eel economy, okay? Without this guy, no one would be eating jellied eels, bruv. Fucking beans on toast looking ass, dude.
The civilian population, hiding weapons in schools. Hamas, on the other hand, committed war crimes as official government policy. Hamas deliberately positioned its military assets among the civilian population, hiding weapons in schools and hospitals, and placing rocket.
Dude, it's so nasty, dude. It's so fucking nasty to just be like, yeah, we have to bomb the hospitals. There's just no other way.
Launchers alongside apartment buildings, then forced those civilians to stay in areas they knew would be attacked.
All of this is completely disputed by NGOs and just like anyone else that does not immediately say like, oh yeah, no, like Israel is always in the right to do ethnic cleansing and should continue to do so. Like literally all of this. Maybe it's the most densely populated open air prison on the planet, and that in some instances, like Like, there are instances where Hamas has urged citizens not to fucking leave. They're not holding them at gunpoint. I'm pretty sure. I think like the most information on this is like in certain circumstances, there have been Hamas officials that have said, don't leave the area, don't panic, thinking that the bombing campaign is not going to occur, and it still ends up happening and people die. But most people do leave. Hamas asking nicely, lol. Dude, that's so fucking stupid. You have to recognize that there's two different arms, right? There's one that is trying to be a legitimate, like, political power. They're still fucking corrupt. There's still anti-Semites in that grouping as well. And then there is the other armed militant wing that is specifically there to retaliate or there to fucking attack if the demands that Hamas makes are not met by Israel. Ultimately, none of this matters. Even if Hamas is literally there with an AK-47 being like, you stay the fuck in here, baby. Knowing that should be reason enough not to fucking blow up a hospital. Like, I don't know why we ever have a conversation about this. Literal war criminal trying to prove that Israel is doing what Israel is doing isn't a war crime.
Attacked. They also instructed their people to report the lie that every Gazan killed was a civilian, even if they were actually fighters. And if there were no civilian deaths.
Oh my God. Israel itself reported numbers where they showed that the casualties of Palestinian civilians was significantly larger than the Palestinian fighters that they declared. Like, everyone over the age of fucking 18 is just basically a Hamas fighter. Even with those numbers, it's like fucking kids, dude. You're such a sick freak.
Made them up. Numerous internet sites show Palestinians elaborately staging sniper victims and smashed ambulances, among other phony horrors.
Why would they need to fucking create smashed ambulances, you fuckface, when it's caught in fucking 4K? Sniper victims? Placing sniper victims? Literally all of this is a lie. Like, all of this. Dude, that's so fucked. That's so fucked, dude.
It's so common, there's even a term for it. Pallywood, as in Palestinian Hollywood. Ironically, it's the leaders of Hamas themselves who best understand the extraordinary.
Pallywood, or Palestinian Hollywood, is some psychopathic alt-right, ultra fucking Zionist Israeli Defense Brigade shit on the internet. No, people that fucking say, oh, Pallywood I've never heard of as a term, but like I have seen it. Like this happened recently as well, where in like the Israeli Defense Brigade circuits on the internet, there was a video going around of a Palestinian makeup artist. There was a video going around of a Palestinian makeup artist that was like showcasing their talents or some shit. And they literally were just like, oh yeah, see, they're doing it again. They're like painting, they're painting the fucking children to look like they've been shot by the IDF. It's like, dude, they don't need to do that. Like, they don't need to actually do makeup artists. They don't need to actually like figure out what makeup artists can recreate when the IDF is giving plenty of fucking opportunities. But they do? Dude, that was a fucking 10-year-old video. It was literally debunked by Snopes. Like, that's just a lie. Just like that other video that's going around in Reddit in the UK that, like, apparently there was a pro-Palestine protest going on, and they were saying, like, kill all the Jews or something. Totally fucking a lie. A total lie. A total fabrication. That was not happening, and they just added that sound effect on top of it. But why are you surprised by that when the official Israeli account is straight up lying and saying that Bella Hadid is saying, throw all the Jews in the sea? It is literally real. What is literally real? your video that stops before you make an explanation? I mean, yeah, that's another good one too. Hey, but you get fucking up, dudes. Hasanabi lying. I'm lying. What did I say? What am I lying about? Hold on. Here, I'll just fucking show it. Jesus Christ. A video featuring a Palestinian makeup artist was used as propaganda to claim that the reports of atrocities in Syria and Israel had been faked. Like, this was making the rounds again, dude. It's from fucking 2018, and it was making the rounds again. On February, like on 25th of February, this is makeup, it's not real. On 25th of February, Gaza Post published a video about a makeup artist, Mariam Salah, and her work in the Palestinian cinema special effects industry. The video was later, nice source? What, you don't, what the fuck? Oh, shit. Of course you don't like Snopes. Even though Snopes itself is neolib propaganda for the most part, I forgot that the sick freaks that are psychopathic far-right supporters of Israel's continued occupation, of course they are reactionary, and therefore they're going to be like anti-Snopes as well. The video was later repurposed by propagandists and shared as it captured a group of people attempting to stage fake wounds and injuries to attempt to fool the public about atrocities supposedly committed in either Israel or war-torn Syria. Some versions of this footage were edited to remove an interview segment and make the video appear more like a documentary and less like a news segment. Okay? Yeah, when it suits them as a legitimate source. Here is actually a real thing, for the record. Here's a real thing that the IDF had faked. Are you ready for this? The IDF, when they shot and murdered a Palestinian medic in cold blood, who was clearly wearing a medic vest and well-defined as a medic, a threat to no one, when they shot and murdered her, they said that she was actually fucking doing acts of terrorism and was a fucking meat shield or some shit. And then they deceptively edited video to make it seem like she actually was and tarnished her reputation after murdering her with sniper fire. That was disproven later. Yeah. Yesterday in the UK, a car drove into a crowd of Palestinian protesters. Wasn't at all reported, but the anti-Semites were. Am I thinking of another video? Hold on. Oh, yeah. Here, the Israeli army edits video of Palestinian medic is troop shot dead to misleadingly show she was human shield for Hamas. Oopsie. Oopsie, dude. Oops. We sniped a medic and murdered her and then lied. The UK anti-Semite video? Wait, maybe I'm thinking of a different one. Can you link me the anti-Semite UK video? Depressing to know that no British MP seem to care about Palestine. We could really use literally anyone without a history of anti-Semitism. This one. 4 men arrested in anti-Semitism video investigation. I don't think this is the video I'm talking about. Four men, Boris Johnson earlier condemned the shameful racism aimed at British Jews, which has no place in society. Of course not, by the way, for the record. Fuck anti-Semites. Okay? On Sunday, a video was posted on social media appearing to show a convoy of cars with Palestinian flags. With Palestinian flags driving down the street with a man shouting anti-Semitic abuse from a megaphone. The person who filmed the video, who wanted to remain anonymous, said they started filming when they heard excessive hooting outside their window in North London. They happened to stop at a set of traffic lights and was able to capture what happened. I cried, how is this the world we live in today? They added, I felt immediately frightened and appalled that this is happening in this country. What if I was walking alone wearing something that identified me as Jewish? What might have happened? I don't feel safe in my own home. That's what terrifies me. This shit, for the record, is completely unacceptable. Anti-Semitism is completely unacceptable, as I've mentioned time and time again. In a statement, the Metropolitan Police said it deployed one of its helicopters to help trace the vehicle, and officers stopped the car at approximately 18:30 BST on Sunday. 4 men were arrested on suspicion of racially aggravated. Oh my God, I can't fucking read anymore. Aggravated public order offenses. They've been taken into custody at a West London police station where they remain. Superintendent Joe Edwards, in charge of policing operations, said the behavior was utterly shocking and added that extra police patrols will be in the place in St. John Woods and Golders Green on Sunday evening. But the fact that a single instance makes national news is insane. BBC didn't even cover the 150K marching. There was a man arrested after a car hits pro-Palestinian protesters in Nottingham. Police have arrested a man on suspicion of causing grievous bodily harm after a clash of protesters in a car during a pro-Palestinian demonstrations in Nottingham. The 51-year-old was also arrested on suspicion of dangerous driving, and he remains in police custody. Although the details of the incident have not been confirmed by the police, a man suffered leg injuries as a result. I didn't even hear about this. I didn't hear about that one either, though, to be fair. It might have been going around. I don't know if this is the video I'm thinking of, but it could be. I thought there was another video where, like, they faked the fucking, the audio or some shit. Chuds are pretending to be angry at this and using it to justify anti-Palestinian shit. Ironic, considering they probably have said similar shit about Jewish people. 100%. IDF uses illegal bullets to cause additional suffering. Oh yeah, I'm not going to show that. In Germany, there were protests where such stuff is shouted. Is that what you were thinking about? I don't know. I didn't go over it in the... If I didn't go over it in while I'm streaming, then I probably briefly saw it and didn't think about it beyond that. For the record, none of this is inexcusable shit. Okay? This is inexcusable shit. Although, it does not justify Israel's actions against Palestinians, which are significantly worse offenses than saying anti-Semitic things, which I'm glad that they fucking caught them, okay, for saying so. But if you are fearful of people shouting anti-Semitic things, then recognize the genuine fear that Palestinians live through in Gaza when their fucking houses are bombed every day. Seriously. It still does not justify the anti-Semitism in any way, shape, or form. But, you know, maybe you can use that as a opportunity for empathy. The Prime Minister condemns the anti-Semitism, but 58 children getting murdered is fine. I mean, I don't know. Is it fine? Does Boris Johnson have a take on Israel? I don't even know. Thank you. A lot of shit has been happening in Toronto and Montreal too, but that's all you hear from Israelis. Not a peep about the conflict overseas except for butt Hamasing. The only take Boris Johnson had a take on is themselves, bro. Isn't the Conservative Party being investigated for anti-Semitic roots? Weird that he stands with Palestine. No ulterior motive here. What? What? No, the Labour Party was investigated for anti-Semitism. The Conservatives were not investigated for that at all. Anti-Semitism is a big problem in the UK. Less so in the Labour Party, but made a large fucking deal out of by, now we know, actual fucking Labour Party members that literally wanted to ruin the Corbyn regime within the Labour Party. Wait, Tories are being investigated now? Oh, good. It is a big problem in England, yes. Not the entirety of... It's a big problem in England. Anyway. All right. We're going to move on from this. I'm sick and tired of covering the same shit over and over again. I'm getting a headache. I hate it. We are going to watch Stand Your Ground. You know, lighter news. A little bit of John Oliver on fucking Stand Your Ground laws, which is the long, comprehensive thing that he did this time around.
Moving on. Our main story tonight concerns guns. You know, big pew-pew sticks that go boom-boom. Guns are everywhere in America, and I do mean everywhere.
How many guns do you think I can hide underneath a Hawaiian shirt? Of course, we got the gray man. Got my Beretta Model 85. Feels like a Car Arms CT-45. Charter Arms, undercover, 38 Special. Grandpa Dave's old Derringer. This is a Sky CPX-2, Smith & Wesson 442. Oh, wait, one more. North American Arms Sidewinder, 22 Magnum, just in case you need something small.
Wow, that is the second...
What are you going to kill with that, dude? A fucking bird?
most horrifying thing you can find coming at you in a Hawaiian shirt right after John Lasseter on National Hug Your Boss Day. Although I will say, the reveal of the Thumbelina-sized gun in his Tommy Bahama pocket was an M. Night Shyamalan-worthy twist. Well done, tiny gun. You are both...
Nah, they're lethal. You would literally have to probably shoot someone directly in the eye or something.
superfluous and surprising. But this story isn't so much about guns themselves as it is about one particular law that significantly expanded how they're used. I'm talking about Stand Your Ground laws. 30 states currently have them, and while they were initially pitched as a law and order measure to protect people forced to make difficult decisions in impossible life or death situations, in practice, they can be invoked in incidents that really seem like they didn't need to turn deadly.
The man who shot and killed a father of 4 at a Florissant bar is free tonight. So
straight wrong. The bullet is not lethal. You throw the gun afterwards, it gives pretty bad. Hit someone with a 22 in the chest, it bounces around. It's not through and through. 22s are more lethal and kill more people than anything else because it blows up. Is that why? Is that why most guns are most deaths are from 22s? Well, I don't know what the fucking difference is between the one that he was talking about. Yeah, I think that the statistic that most gun deaths are from 22s is literally because it's cheaper. Not because it's it's not necessarily the most lethal. I don't know why people are fucking using that as a reason. It's more popular and cheaper. It enters, but it doesn't exit. You're thinking of hollow point. Small caliber rounds like a 22 will stay mostly intact, but will ricochet. Also, this is a 22 Magnum.
So far, the gunman's not facing charges for the shooting at Show Me's Bar and Grill on Wednesday afternoon. The St. Louis County prosecutor says he needs more time to decide whether he'll prosecute the gunman. That's because Missouri's stand your ground law is complicated. Scott Berry was killed when an argument over how heavy a dog could weigh became physical.
Holy shit.
Americans are so dumb. I swear to God, we are literally the dumbest country. How do we dominate the world? A question I ask myself every fucking day, dude. How? Like, we are literally a nation of sweaty, unwashed, idiotic hogs, and yet we literally control the entire planet with our endless imperialist regime. It is mind-boggling to me. We're so fucking stupid. We're so stupid, dude. Straight up. It's crazy, dude. It is crazy. Like you have to look to this situation and be like, that guy is a part of a nation that has the most powerful fucking military on the planet.
Shit! Not only is that a massive overreaction, it's a pointless argument. Everyone knows dogs come in a wide array of sizes, from pocket-sized sweeties to slender kings, to dense boys, to droopy boys, to big honking boys, to standard. That's just veterinary science. Standing ground laws gained notoriety nearly a decade ago when police claimed that Florida's law kept them from initially arresting George Zimmerman after he shot and killed 17-year-old Trayvon Martin. More recently, they've been floated as a potential defense for the killers of Ahmaud Arbery. And those are just two devastating examples of many. And don't worry, we're not going to show you the far too plentiful footage of people getting shot in public places.
Thank fucking Christ, dude. Holy shit. Okay, this seems TOS safe.
Tonight. Frankly, we're just one senseless murder away from HBO Max putting this show in the endless parade of human misery category alongside Chernobyl and Entourage. But given the prevalence of stand your ground laws and the racial disparities in who they do and crucially don't protect, we thought tonight it'd be worth taking a look at them. And let's start with why exactly stand your ground laws were created. Because before they came along, most states already had self-defense laws on the books that traditionally included an element known as a duty to retreat, meaning you couldn't resort to using deadly force in a confrontation if you could safely avoid or de-escalate it. Now, in many states, an exception to this rule was the so-called castle doctrine, a legal theory arguing that your home is your castle and there you can use deadly force much more broadly to protect yourself against intruders. The key thing stand your ground
Hell yeah, brother,
was remove that.
And goddamn it, every part. Hey, home is what you make it, you fucking libtard. That's why I decided that this sidewalk is my home now. That's why I need to use this when at the mere sight of a black person sucking up the air in my near vicinity, and all of a sudden I get terrified, and I had to do stand your ground.
Duty to retreat from public.
You like to see homos naked? Question mark. Okay. It's from Joe Dirt. Okay, saved.
Places, basically extending the castle doctrine to anywhere you have a legal right to be. If you have a reasonable fear someone might hurt you, you have just as much right to shoot them in the street as you would if they were coming through the window of your house. And this change was largely thanks to the advocacy of one woman with a pretty compelling story.
Marion Hammer says she was walking to her car after a long day at the office when she was accosted by a car full of men. But she had a surprise for them.
I drew the gun up through the headlights of the car and I aimed at the driver. And somebody in the car screamed, The bitch got a gun.
The bitch got a gun. I honestly did not expect to hear that come out of that woman's mouth. Help yourself to some hard candies in the ceramic pig? Absolutely. Take off your boots so you don't track anything on the wall-to-wall carpeting? Of course. But a curse word? In the daylight? Not in 10,000 contractions of the universe. But the important part of her story concerns what she claims a police chief said to her after she told her story publicly.
The police chief told me, well, in that situation, if you'd called the police, we'd have arrested you because you were the only one who employed the use of deadly force. And that made me angry.
And that argument is the absolute core of the case for Stand Your Ground laws, that Marion Hammer could have been arrested for simply defending herself. Now, she wasn't, of course. That didn't happen, but someone said that she might have been, and that made her angry. But a few things there, because while everything about Marion Hammer seems like a sweet, everyday grandmother...
You don't want to see me angry. You don't want to see me angry.
Right down to this feline glamour shot of her posted on a cat breeder's website. You should know she's also one of the country's most powerful gun lobbyists and a former president of the NRA. She has personally helped push through dozens of gun laws in Florida alone, including a 19...
Dude, this is terrifying, dude. You gotta fucking... This shit is absolutely terrifying. Cute little old lady turns out like just devastating lobbyist. I didn't even know this.
1987 bill allowing conceal and carry...
Also, fucking Florida! Sorry.
...permits, a law then duplicated in some form in almost every state, leading to more than 16 million Americans currently having licenses to carry concealed handguns. So, that Margaritaville arsenal that you saw earlier, you have this Dana Carvey character to thank for that situation. And while it's not entirely relevant, you should know Hammer's advocacy wasn't limited just to guns. She also successfully killed a petition from 10,000 schoolchildren to change the Florida state bird to the scrub jay, a bird so friendly it apparently eats peanuts out of your hand. Now, she objected because, in her words, begging for food isn't sweet, it's lazy and it's a welfare mentality, and they eat the eggs of other birds, that's robbery and murder. I don't think scrub jays can even sing. And okay, slow down there, Marion. Set aside lazy, welfare mentality and robbery and murder, which is a lot to put on a bird. Scrub jays can't sing? You might want to tell that to the scrub jay, Marion. See? That's fine.
Dude, imagine being a bird racist. Fucking wild, dude. Like, what a ridiculous thing.
Is it great? No, it's not great. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. Sure, the bird is no Mariah, but it's also no Roseanne. If that bird is anyone, it's Fergie. You heard me. The scrub jay is Fergie.
Like it's just like when you need to manifest some more fucking, like when you're desperate to like do racism towards things, so you decide to be racist towards a bird, dude. Crazy.
Tweet it, talk it, put it in your pocket. I've made a flimsy take and I'm proud of it. The point is, Marion Hammer played a big part in passing one of the country's first Stand Your Ground laws in Florida. And the passage of that bill was immensely useful to the NRA because it became a model for laws that they could then...
Hello, I'm one of those Ethiopian women that has been forcibly sterilized when I migrated to Israel in 1994. Can you please share some awareness on this scandal that has been later admitted by the Israeli government? I think more people should know what happened to many African immigrants in Israel. Oh, yeah. Oh, of course. I've talked about this before, but yeah, when I say like, I mean, I've talked about this before, guys. When I say that like Israel is not necessarily all too kind to all Jews, not all Jews are equal in the eyes of Israel. Their African migrant control plan in Israel is so fucking disgusting that Tucker Carlson thought it would be poggers to do in America, which was the IDF literally was going to put bounties on the migrants, like on the African migrants that are currently within Israeli borders, and offer bounties to civilians that they would train to go out and apprehend and detain and expel Ethiopian Jews, African migrants in general, from within their borders. Yeah. Fucking when Tucker Carlson is saying that shit's dope, you know. I didn't know that part. Holy shit. Dude, whenever I talk about fucking I've talked about all this stuff already. I don't know why you guys like civilian training. They suspended it, boys. Don't worry. Israel will pay new civilian immigration inspectors $9,000 bonuses to deport African migrants, dude. You know, bounties. If you have a huge new audience, man, it's actually awesome. Remember, lots of folks aren't following for more than 6 months. Oh, yeah. No, I know. I have talked about it before, though. Yeah. Yeah, don't watch me 24/7. You know. Israel is what I imagined America would be like if Sean Hannity was president. More like Tucker Carlson. Guys, just some parts of conflict. You know, like forcibly sterilizing Ethiopian women, for example. Just regular conflict things, dude. I'm sorry. I'm just doing regular tit for tat conflict. Boy, bruv, is Israel doing Western values, bruv? Some 130,000 Ethiopians, most of them Jewish, live in Israel. The community experiences higher poverty and unemployment rates than the rest of the country's Jewish population. In the past decade, the birth rate among Ethiopian Israelis has declined by at least 20%. Advocacy groups now claim this decline is a result of birth control regimen forced upon Ethiopian immigrant women. According to an article in the Haaretz, okay, did I say it right? Every time I fucking say it, everyone's like, that's not how you read it. An Israeli news source, one Ethiopian immigrant said that the doctors who injected her claimed that people who frequently give birth suffer. While it is possible, if highly unlikely, that doctors genuinely had the women's health in mind when they forcibly injected them with contraceptives, there is no excuse for depriving women's sovereignty over their own reproductive choices. Israel has acknowledged the issue without admitting any wrongdoing and has vowed institutional changes in healthcare for immigrants. Anyway. U.S. literally did the same thing. Oh, yeah, we talked about this as well. Of course, that there was a doctor in one of the ICE detention facilities that was just straight up fucking doing hysterectomies on immigrant women that were in their detention centers. Canada has had a mass sterilization campaign towards its indigenous population as well. This is unironically good old Western values, for the record. Like, that's never been a, like, trying to engage in some form of population control with mass sterilization campaigns has always been at the heart of white supremacist Western values. Of course, Germany tried to do that to the Jewish population, and did it to the Jewish population. America did it to